Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to the Glitched Out Gaming Podcast, episode 32, your weekly podcast where we dive into the world of gaming and try and be positive. It's hard sometimes, but we do our best. And joining me once again on this episode, the one, the only, Israel Pacheco.
We'll try to be positive.
Through the power of positivity.
We need Big E to do our intros. Just start yelling at the listeners, but yeah, there should be some good stuff to talk about. I know we got some things to say about some of the news stories that we don't necessarily are too happy about, but overall, I think it'll be a pretty positive show.
Yeah, I do believe so. We've got quite a bit of Nintendo stuff to do. They dropped a Nintendo Direct on us. We've got some release dates for some big games coming out. And another delay happened again for something. And in our topic of the week, we're going to actually talk some movies. It's going to be a big year this year for video game movies, so we figured why the fuck not? We got to dive into that conversation. But we're going to kick this show off, as we kick off every show, with what we've been playing.
Ooh, I completely forgot that. I don't know. I am off this week for some reason.
I think we all are. I'm sick. The show was delayed until recording on Sunday yesterday, so yeah. But
okay. I only have 2 games, so I wrote them down real quick.
Right. I believe your list is quite primal, isn't it?
I can't even make a pun out of that. I thought I was gonna say, that's not a Far Cry. That doesn't even make sense anyway.
What have you been playing though, Izzy?
So before we talk about that game, I finished up the story mode of Street Fighter V. Went through all 16 characters. By the end of it, I was like, oh man, it's a letdown. It's disappointing. They definitely should have done more. Hopefully the cinematic story mode that they release in June is more than this. But like I had said on the previous week's show, some of the stuff is interesting. Some of the stuff is, your cheesy, like over the top Street Fighter corniness, and some of the stuff is like not really interesting, so it's a mixed bag there, but yeah, the presentation it still leaves me wanting more. Haven't played pretty much more than that really, because once you finish the story mode, there's everything else is just online. So I'll dive into the game that you were referencing, and that is Far Cry Primal, a game that was all over the place for me. Like I was really excited, and then like once it was about to be released, I just didn't want to pick it up then, and then my brother got it on release day, so I borrowed his copy a few days after release, and I played about 2.5 hours of it. I'm like, I'm really liking this, so I ended up buying it myself so I wouldn't be hogging up his copy. So I'm 6 hours and 10 minutes, something like that, into this game. And I'm really enjoying it. I think it might be the best Far Cry game that I've played.
Wow.
Because it just does some things that fit really well in the like the time period. Because this one, if you guys don't know, takes place in 10,000 BCE, in prehistory, ancient times. So it's really interesting because there's no weapons in terms of like guns. There's like spears, there's like clubs, arrows, bows and arrows. So very primitive stuff, but it works really well, and it's just really unique. Even though if it's the same as the other Far Cries, like it takes a Far Cry formula, and then it throws you into this time period, and it works really well even without guns. There's a lot more melee than there was in the previous Far Cry games when you have like the clubs and like spears and things like that. But it's really fun, to be honest, and I'm loving the whole like beast master mechanic, where like you go out and you hunt different creatures, or you might end up taming the creature that you're hunting, and then you could use them against enemies and other creatures. Like, for example, I've gotten a bunch of the beasts, almost all of them at this point. I don't think all of them, but probably I'd say maybe like 75% of them.
Yeah.
And right now I'm using like the saber-toothed tiger, and it's like awesome because like if you guys are familiar with Far Cry, the outposts, right? That's something that's been like in every Far Cry game. They have it in this too. So they have like a little camp settlement, and then you could like direct your saber-toothed tiger to attack your enemies and stuff like that, or attack other creatures that you're hunting. So it's really cool. Like you could use him basically as a weapon, and it works really well. Like for example, there was this one mission I was doing where I wanted to take over this camp, because it's like the other games. Once you take over the camp, you see more of the map, more of your like base expands. You know, you have more people that work under you, etc.
Okay.
So it was really cool. Like I didn't even go in. I played it all stealth. Like I stayed outside of the camp. I threw up my owl, and the owl goes up in the air, right? And he scans like for the enemies, and he points out all the different enemies. And then the owl could also tell your beast to attack certain enemies. So this particular camp, it had water around it, so I couldn't use any of like the feline beasts because they don't like water. So I had to use my wolf. And I just went little by little, taking out everybody in the camp with the owl in the air, directing the wolf to attack the different people. And then by the end of it, I got, the XP bonus that you get for stealth and not, alerting anybody. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, it just works really well. It's kind of, goofy because you're controlling like an owl, and it has the whole supernatural like elements that we've seen in other Far Cry games. But in terms of being a game, it's just really fun. There's like a lot of options for you to do and take down your enemies and stuff. So I'm really enjoying it. Another thing that's really cool is the day and night cycle. Like once you start out the game and you don't have things leveled up yet, it's like really hard to go out at night, because the beast will like come and attack you, and you really feel like out of place, and like you're gonna get destroyed unless you like fire up like your club, and then you like point it at whatever creature. For example, if a wolf comes and it tries to attack you, you point like the fire at them, and then they run away. So yeah, and the lighting is really well done. Like the atmosphere, like switching between like dawn and dusk to daytime and nighttime. It's just really well done overall. Like I'm really impressed with it. Like it's definitely delivering for me. Right now I'm just going around the map, getting all the rest of the beasts and getting all the upgrades that I always do in the Far Cry games. But in terms of story, it's definitely light on story. It's very simplified. Like you're in this land called Oros, and your people are the Wenja, and you're trying to find different people that are spread out across the map and bring them to your camp so you could build more of like your camp, and you build their huts, and then you get more missions and all that stuff. So, and then you're going against like I forgot the Uman, which are basically like Neanderthals, and they're like considered the bad guys in this game. But there's also like other different types of enemies. Like I forgot the other type that they like use fire, but it's really well done. It's better than I thought, because like when I was getting closer to the release date, I was having some second thoughts about this game. Are they going to really deliver? Is it going to be a full experience? Is it going to be unique enough? Because Far Cry 4 for me felt a lot like Far Cry 3. And I never finished that one. I never finished Far Cry 3 also. I got pretty far in that, but never finished it. But this one definitely looks like a game I'll finish, and I might even go for the platinum, to be honest, because it's like one of those games you just go around and you find collectibles, and you get new beasts, and you get new upgrades and I think there's just so much to do, so definitely worth the price. If you guys were worried about this being like a full Far Cry game, it is a full Far Cry game. And the other thing too, it doesn't have any season pass, so what you get in the game is what you get. It has no season pass. I repeat, no season pass, no DLC coming in the future. So it's like a complete experience. No multiplayer also, but that doesn't bother me. Would have been cool to do co-op with like my brother, but it's fine. I'm still really enjoying it. So that's pretty much the game that I'm sticking to, and I'm gonna keep sticking throughout March and trying to put a lot of hours into it and get my money's worth out of it.
Very nice, very nice.
So an hour later, after talking about this game, those are my impressions of Far Cry. I'm really enjoying it. Far Cry Primal.
Cool. You've definitely perked my interest a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely a game I'd recommend. Maybe you could wait on a sale for it, later on in the year. But it is a full experience. You're not getting gypped.
Okay.
Like this looks like it's going to be a long game because, like I said, I'm about 6 hours in. I'm like 16, 17%. And that percent in Far Cry is always like of everything, like all the collectibles, all the outposts, all the creatures, all the weapons. So there is a lot to do in this game.
Cool. Great to hear it.
Only needed dinosaurs. That's like the only thing that would improve this game. Maybe Far Cry 5 will get dinosaurs, but we'll see.
Maybe, yeah. As for myself, I haven't got a whole lot this week. I played a little bit more of Hitman Go Definitive Edition on the Vita. Really great game, as I've said before. I've played quite a bit more of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth on the Vita. I've gotten 2 champions and the one up from that onto my team now. I have Metal Greymon on my team, so I can't remember what he's classified as, but it's after champion, so there you go. I have that one on my team now. I'm really digging the game. It's, as I said before, classic turn-based JRPG, but getting Digimon, training them up, it's great. And as I briefly told you one day over Skype, if you're looking for that console Pokemon experience, pick up the PlayStation 4 version of Digimon. That's your console Pokemon, folks. It's essentially that. So yeah, really digging that game. And the final game that I have this week, I dove back into Super Mario World on the 3DS.
Oh, this bastard.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't know how to do cross-buy, so I had to re-buy it again, but I don't give a fuck. Like, Super Nintendo games finally on the 3DS eShop, the new 3DS eShop, as we'll discuss in a little bit. But, man, it runs so nicely on the 3DS and controls so well. So, yeah, I've been playing that. I just got through the first little island, got past the first castle. So I haven't done much yet, but god damn does it ever run really well on there. And I'm going to give Nintendo so much money over the course of this next month because I want most of the games that they've confirmed that are coming. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff for Lord X.
Yep. March went from a maybe nothing month to I'm giving Nintendo a lot of money month.
Yep. Got him.
Yep. Yeah, they got me. But that's pretty much it for what I've been playing. Hasn't really been anything else really catching me as of this month. Just handheld stuff for me right now.
Yeah, I was like that until like Far Cry pretty much. That's like the game that got me out of the slump that I've been like the last month, because last month I didn't beat any game and I kept jumping back and forth between a bunch of games and not completing anything. So luckily Far Cry got me out of that slump. Yeah. And there's gonna be a lot of stuff coming out in April, so
April and May are getting packed now. So
yeah, even June, as we'll discuss in a little bit. But
indeed. So with that, let's dive into our news. And Izzy, Nintendo had a new Direct, so we got a lot of stuff to go over.
Yeah, there is a lot to talk about. I believe this direct was about 40 minutes, as opposed to like the 5-minute one from last week for Pokemon. They really could have put that information into this direct. Let's be honest. That was a pretty pointless direct.
Yeah.
I still shake my head. Maybe they just want to do it around the anniversary date, but they really could have put that information in here. But let's get right into it. First thing we saw of the direct was one of the things I was most excited about, and that was Star Fox. We got a confirmed release date. It's coming at the end of April.
Yeah.
It did not get delayed. There was rumors circulating that it might have got delayed into later summer, but that's not happening. We also got Star Fox Guard, which is the game Miyamoto showed off as a, what would you say, like a demo concept. Yeah, back several E3s ago. So
it's a tower defense
game. Yeah, pretty much.
Where you use cameras to watch the enemies.
No. Star Fox, it's looking good. It's looking better. They've definitely done some graphical tweaks to the game. I like how they're doing branching paths in the different levels. They're still forcing motion controls on you. There's no options for you to turn that off. And they're saying because there's some balancing issues there that they've tweaked it to only work with the gamepad as you aiming when you're in the R-Wing. But looking good. At least they're giving you the option of either purchasing them as a bundle for retail. You'll get Star Fox and Star Fox Zero and Guard as one package for a limited time for $60, or you can get it on the eShop for $50, Star Fox Zero, and then 15 Star Fox Guard. If you buy either or, you get like a $5 discount. But it's looking good. I'm excited for it. This is one of my.
And it's looking better too.
Yeah, visually it's looking better. There seems to be more, like, I had fears that it was going to be very skimpy on content, but it looks like there's going to be a good amount of stuff in there.
And the 2-player mode looked interesting as well.
That looked pretty cool, the co-op mode that they have. I might try that out with my brother. We'll see how that works out. We got some surprise updates for Splatoon and Super Mario Maker. Which is really cool. Splatoon came out last May. Mario Maker came out in September. It's March 2016. We're still getting updates to these games. Really cool. Splatoon's getting some tweaks and some like new weapons and stuff. Mario Maker's getting some new items. I forgot the name of the item from Super Mario World, but it's the spikes. Yeah, pretty much that you could use, and then you have also keys, so you could link different levels together. That's really cool. They keep expanding on the concept of the game. So
the red coins,
right? There's some good stuff. Like, I haven't really dived into Mario Maker. I wasn't a big fan of it. Maybe now I'll go back in and the levels will be more complex than they were before. I'm sure of it at this point with all these updates, but very cool on Nintendo to keep supporting these games, and all this stuff is free. Like, you don't have to pay, which is really cool. Next, the other thing I was looking forward to of this direct was the Fire Emblem / SMT crossover, which has now been retitled for the US and North America and like South America, the West, I should say, because in the East it's still Fire Emblem something. Is a different title. Anyway, it's Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. So what the hell that is, I don't know. The game looks cool though. It pretty much looks like Persona meets Fire Emblem with a big emphasis on
J-pop.
Like J-pop and virtual idols and all that. It actually looks really cool. I heard this game tanked in Japan.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think reviews were good though.
Yeah, and in terms of its critical reception, I looked up some reviews, and like Famitsu gave it like, I think they gave it like 9.988 or something. You know, that scale that they do like 4 or 5 reviews and then they average them out. So it got good reviews, but for whatever reason it just tanked. I believe it was released last December, but we're getting it here in the States. I hope it's successful because it's it's very interesting, and it's going to be coming out June 24th. That's going to be, this summer cool that we're getting a game in June, because usually like June, July is very barren, but this is a perfect game for the summer.
Yep. Perfect release date as well. Absolutely
RPG.
Perfect release date.
There's not too much that's within the same ballpark, in terms of the genre at that time. Moving forward, surprise.
Before you do, though,
okay.
I was looking at the name Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and I'm like...
Oh, yeah, backwards of SMT.
Yeah, SMT.
Which is... Yeah, it's strange that they picked this title. They could have called it... I don't understand the sharp FE. Like, why couldn't they just call it Tokyo Mirage Sessions? Like...
Yeah,
or
just leave it at that.
Or Shin Megami Tensei Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Or
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they could have come up with something better. I'm sure they could have, but for whatever reason, Bravely Default was successful.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, moving forward, we got new Paper Mario for the Wii U.
And somewhere Ozzy Legend cries.
Yeah, because it's not a traditional Paper Mario like the original and Thousand Year Door. It's another gimmick this time around. You basically go around smashing paint and bringing color to the world. I've never really played, to be honest, I've never played any of the Paper Mario games. I know like my cousins are fans of it, and I remember watching them play like the 64 version, the GameCube version back in the day, but a series that never like really drew me in. I was going to try the 3DS one. I heard it was bleh.
Yeah, it was bad.
I completely skipped that, but it's cool. Another game for the Wii U. Kind of strange that this was supposed to be a direct for the spring and the summer, and they didn't give a release date for this. That was kind of strange, but cool that we're getting a new Paper Mario game. It's definitely the twilight year of the Wii U, but at least we're getting support. Moving forward, Disney Art Academy for the 3DS. Basically like Pokemon Art Academy that came out, several years ago. Same concept, but with Disney characters.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll do well. They talked about Bravely Second. There's going to be a demo coming soon. That game releases... What's the release date on that? June also?
April.
Really? I thought it was later. That's right around the corner then. So yeah, very cool that we're getting that here. The first game was pretty successful. Moving on to some more 3DS news. We got more news about Hyrule Warriors. Some DLC that's coming to it. If you buy the 3DS version, you also get the characters that are included with that on the Wii U version through a download code. Cool addition, but I don't see myself rebuying that game. But neat feature. Some more 3DS stuff. A series I've never really cared for. Monster Hunter Generations. It's coming west. It was Monster Hunter X in Japan. It's coming stateside.
In the West, X is not going to give it to you.
Yeah, and yeah, that's weird why they would change that. But Monster Hunter Generations. There's also going to be some crossover there with Fire Emblem, which is cool. Not necessarily a game for me. Like Monster Hunter, I've tried like some of the demos and it's never really clicked with me. The more 3DS stuff, there's a lot of 3DS stuff. Metroid Prime Federation Force, more footage. They spent a fair amount of time, more time than they spent on most of these other games that's trying to talk us into the story and the backstory of the characters and why this does fit in the Metroid universe. It still didn't make me change my mind on the game. It looks like it'll be fun, but the art style that they've chosen with the chibi characters, I'm not really feeling it. In terms of like graphically, it doesn't look very impressive. There's been other games on 3DS that look, a lot better than this, like Super Mario 3D Land. That game looked fantastic. Luigi's Mansion, that game looked fantastic. Mario Kart 7. So I don't know why this game is doesn't look too impressive. I remember they were talking about in the direct. This started as a DSi game, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some sort of Samus cameo in it. I really don't. I don't know why they continued with this game. To be honest, like, who's the audience for this?
Happy 30th, Metroid.
Oh, that's true, man.
It saddens me so much.
Let's move on before
Yes.
we keep. It looks like it'll be, a fun, good game. Not really interested in it because it isn't the Metroid that I would like to see. A new Kirby game, which
Yay!
actually looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's Kirby with mechs, pretty much.
Kirby Titanfall edition.
It looks pretty fun. To be honest, I'm not a fan of Kirby games. I find them like too easy and like, it just never clicked with me. Like, I think Kirby, you had to like grown up with a character to really appreciate it. I never really did.
Yeah.
Something that you talked about earlier, SNES games, Super Nintendo games, have come to the 3DS, but it's only the new 3DS.
Well, they gotta sell systems somehow. They were like, oh fuck, we haven't put out any new 3DS games. Super Nintendo games, that'll do it.
Man,
I was fine with this. I'm like, okay.
I think it's a cool feature, but for them to like basically tell us that Super Nintendo games can't run on a regular 3DS, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
True.
Like, they had GBA games running on it for the Ambassador program, and those GBA games are basically Super Nintendo games. Like, it's just disappointing. Not for me, I don't have one anymore, but I'm saying for most people, I know a lot of people out there who don't have a new 3DS.
I would have been disappointed if I hadn't upgraded this last month.
Yeah, you just upgraded recently, so.
But the lineup that
cool.
they have coming is
Mario
great.
World, Super Metroid, Earthbound, A Link to the Past. These are all fantastic classic games. Very cool that they're finally hitting the platform. I hope the people who buy it on 3DS, they can transfer it over to the NX or whatever device in the future.
Yeah. Learn about cross-buy Nintendo, please. You tried it a little bit.
It just, I don't know. Anyway, we'll be getting the Nintendo, account system pretty soon, which they glanced over really quickly in the Direct, which I found really strange. I thought they were going to spend more time on it because I want to know more things about it. But yeah, and some quick hitters here in terms of other stuff that was shown in the Direct. Pocket Card Jockey, which I don't remember this game at all. In the Direct, it might have been one of those segments where I tuned out. Azure Striker Gunvolt 2. This was the game that was, already on the 3DS, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it the Wii U? Was it both?
3DS. I think it's just 3DS.
So yeah, the game came out maybe a year or two ago, right?
Yep.
It's very similar to like a Mighty Number 9 type of game, a side scroller shooter. I believe it's by the same people, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
By what's the name of that studio that's working? It's weird. They're making other games and they're not even finishing their own. Rhythm Heaven Megamix, which seems like the greatest hits of the Rhythm Heaven series. Rhythm Heaven, of course, like a music rhythm game, but very similar to like the WarioWare games, very wacky and random. I haven't played any of the other games in the series, but I've always wanted to try some of them. But looks cool. Lost Reavers, which used to be Project Treasure, by Bandai Namco, which they showed a while ago. At this point, it's free to play. Multiplayer cooperative like action game. Looks okay.
Yeah. The open beta will be starting soon, they said.
Yeah, it didn't really grab my interest. Mario and Sonic at the Rio games. We saw footage of the Wii U version, which up to this point we hadn't seen yet. Another game that's like, it sells to a crowd, a younger audience. I'm a fan of both of these characters, and I've never picked any of these games up, to be honest. So, Mini Mario Friends Amiibo Challenge, which is like, it's basically another game in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, but you get to use different characters of your amiibos, depending on which amiibos you have. Some of them will be the actual character that you put on the base from the amiibo. Others would just be like just random things if the character is not included in the game. But that's pretty much it in terms of the Nintendo Direct stuff. I know we were kind of like, not really for me a lot of time. But overall, I thought it was a solid Nintendo Direct.
Yep.
I really like the pacing. That was something that we were chatting about while we were watching it. Really like the pacing because they never spend too much time on one game. It was like, so if there was something there that you wanted to see, you were happy about, like Star Fox, boom, I saw it, I'm excited. Same thing with Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but then there was other things in between that I really didn't care.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't spend too much time.
They were like boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom, and they hit everybody. Like there was something for everybody there. The only game that they spent a little too much time on was Metroid Prime Federation Force, but that's expected because when they first revealed that game, it was a terrible reveal. So at least they tried, they tried fixing that. But overall, I enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, I really digged it. There was a lot of stuff there that I'm interested in. I might dive back into Mario Maker now. That Tokyo Mirage Sessions, fantastic showing. Comes out on my birthday, which makes it even better for me. Yeah, like everything, I was happy all around with the Direct. It was a good one for me.
Yeah, it was a good Direct. It was like I said, the pacing was great. Bill Trennan did a very good job. Of course we're not going to see Iwata anymore in these, and Reggie was nowhere to be seen in this particular video, which I kind of found strange.
I thought he was there. I was sure he was in that one.
I don't think so. I remember just seeing Bill Trennan the whole time, unless I tuned out for a minute or two, like watching something else.
Might have.
But yeah,
I saw Reggie.
Good job to Bill. He did a good job with this. It was very, boom, 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 boom. A lot of content. A lot of it wasn't necessarily for me, but it was quality stuff. For the most part, even if it's not for me, I could see where it would be things for other people that they would enjoy. But moving forward,
yes, we got another little piece of Nintendo news. A rumor, according to Destructoid, that Nintendo is allegedly funding an NX exclusive. Are you ready for it, folks? Is your body ready for this one? They could be funding Beyond Good and Evil 2.
You know what's funny? Didn't Ubisoft say they had a game for the Wii U that they never released because of the sales?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Is that Beyond Good and Evil 2, or are they restarting the project and Nintendo's funding it this time around? Because I remember like reading these stories about Beyond Good and Evil 2, and nobody really mentioned the stuff that Ubisoft said. What was it, like a year ago, where they said we have a game completely finished for the Wii U as an exclusive, and we're not releasing it because the console's not doing well.
So, I highly doubt that was Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, there's been reports on and off, and they've said that they're continuing to work on Beyond Good and Evil 2, like just a little hush-hush stuff, and it's been rumored now for the longest time, and, I would not be surprised if this ends up being true. Why not? This is another situation like Bayonetta 2 where Nintendo would step in and be like, you know what? Fans want this game. We'll put the money into it. You making an exclusive for our system. Because let's just say, theoretically right now, the NX launches this year and it has Beyond Good and Evil 2 as a day one exclusive.
Yep.
I am saying fuck you to VR and picking up an NX this year if that's the case. Like, that is a system seller for me right there.
That's something they need out the gate, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely a game that has to be a launch title, because if we're like a year into the NX life cycle and that's when that drops, I don't think it's going to be that effective.
No.
Once a lot of games, as we saw, like Knack, for example.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same situation like the Wii U had with Bayonetta 2. Like, that was nowhere to be seen for like 2 years before it came out.
And yeah, they need to hit it, right out the park as a launch title. That's the only way I see this game being a success, because like I was saying, Knack was a success on PS4 because it was a launch game and nobody had anything else to really play. There was like that and Killzone Shadowfall in terms of the first party stuff. So they need this at their launch. If this releases a year or two later, I don't see it doing well, because
they'd be in trouble.
Because one, it's only going to be available on that platform. Two, the original game, that's why they haven't done a sequel, because it wasn't very financially successful at the time. I've never played Beyond Good and Evil, but I've heard great things about it, and it definitely has a cult audience, like Shenmue, which I know Shenmue. So as a fan of that, and finally getting Shenmue 3, it'd be nice to see Beyond Good and Evil 2 for the fans of the series.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really, really hoping that this story is true. Fuck, did I close out I think I closed out my link. Yeah, I did too. Fuck. But yeah, God, I hope this report is true. I've seen Laura K. Buzz on Twitter post that they do have a bit more like information, but they're not sharing it yet because nothing has been confirmed about this. And I think Nintendo told IGN that they have nothing to say on the topic right now. So, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this could actually be true. And like you said, it would be really cool.
They need it at launch. That's the only thing. I hope it hits at launch, because that you get the buzz going around. Because of fans like you're going to be like, oh man, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is finally happening, and people are going to hear about it. The new console's going to be out. That's going to be one of the games available. People are going to pick it up because of the press around Beyond Good and Evil. If it gets announced and gets delayed, that's that's pretty much it for that game, in my opinion. Because we saw how Bayonetta 2 sold. It didn't sell well at all. I don't think it even hit 500,000. I wonder, they've never released sales figures on it. And I bought the game 3 times, so like I bought the disc version twice and I bought the digital version the 3rd time. So
I'm looking at the Destructoid article here now. And it says here, according to a rumor received by Destructoid this week, the game may actually come to fruition in the not-too-distant future. If the information is to be believed, Nintendo has pulled a Bayonetta 2, securing the Beyond Good and Evil sequel as an NX exclusive for 2017.
Oh.
So,
no.
Yeah. But
no.
Either way, this would be fucking awesome. The rumor might also particularly explain why Tim Schafer and Michael Ansetti's recent dev play for Beyond Good and Evil, Shigeru Miyamoto, kept getting name dropped in the discussion of the sequel. So, like they say, maybe the puzzle pieces have begun to align here. And as much as I would love to see Beyond Good and Evil 2 maybe be a timed exclusive or, be multi-platformed, if it has to be an NX exclusive in order to actually get it into existence, I'm fine with that.
Yep, we'll
Let it happen.
We'll see what happens.
And Nintendo, you will get my money for an NX if this is true.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's gonna drop this year, but they need a killer launch lineup. But that's another discussion.
Indeed. but we do have a confirmed release date for something else, though.
Yeah. Finally, we've had a release window for this game for the longest, and we finally have a actual release date, and that is June 21st for No Man's Sky.
Yay!
But it's going to retail for $59.99 on PS4 and PC.
Dun dun dun.
So,
and the internet exploded.
pretty much. And before we get into that discussion, they've also announced a limited edition for the PS4, which looks really nice, actually. The packaging looks really nice. Brings an art book, brings a steelbook case, brings some extra downloadable bonuses. So it looks pretty nice. And then they also have a PC limited edition, which brings a ship from the game, a little replica ship. It brings a digital code for the PC, brings some stickers, some pins. That also looks very nice. That's only going to be limited to 10,000. It's going to retail for $149.99 on the IM 8-bit store, which, for those of you who don't know, IM 8-bit does a lot of like video game memorabilia and collectibles. So, now let's get into the $60 discussion of No Man's Sky.
For Canada, that's $79.99.
That is true. That is very true. So, where does that fall for you in terms of what were you expecting this game to cost? I was expecting it to cost somewhere between $20 to $40.
Yeah, I was expecting a Witness situation where it was going to be $39.99, but you know what? At the end of the day, if it's as big and glorious as they say it are, God, I'm all tangled up. I'm sick. Quiet, folks.
It's okay.
But if it's as ambitious as they say it is, and from the new footage they've shown with like all the new stuff, NPCs and whatnot, I think it's honestly it's justified. It really doesn't matter like the size of the team or the stuff they've done before. If what they promise actually, comes through, it's going to be worth $80. Like, I could see myself spending a shit ton of time playing this game, exploring, crafting, naming stuff. I think $80 could easily justify this game. Like, I've got no issue at the end of the day for it, and I think the digital price on the PlayStation Store for us Canadians right now is still $60, so may pre-order it off there while the price is still at $60.
Yeah. To be honest, I was excited about this game when they first revealed it, but every subsequent reveal of footage kept looking like the same thing, and we've both been around gaming for the longest time, and we know when hype is just hype.
Yeah.
And this game feels like a bunch of hype. Like, it feels like a game you're going to get home and you're going to be severely disappointed because by the time it releases, there's been so much hype and so much anticipation that there's no way it's going to deliver on its promise. Like, your imagination has already mapped out what this game is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And it hasn't even released yet because we've seen so much stuff. It's been like 2-3 years at this point.
Yeah. Can I ask you something? Have you watched the new stuff that they've shown off?
I read about it, but I haven't actually watched any of the footage.
Okay.
I'm still not excited about this game. It's kind of wait and see. I think it's cool, though, that they're getting physical editions because if you end up not liking this game, you could always trade it, sell it. Yeah. Whereas if it was digital only, you'd be stuck with that version. And my collection's digital only. That's why I'm so skeptical about this game. Because if I buy it, I'm not going to get a refund. This isn't Steam here. So if I don't like it, I'm going to be stuck with the game. So I'm waiting on people's impressions, people's reviews. Even then, it's a situation like The Witness. Like, The Witness got a fantastic reviews, but it's just not interested in it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I hope it does well. It's not like I'm hoping this game is garbage and under delivers and all that stuff. It's just I have like that gut feeling is telling me this game's not going to deliver. Hopefully, when it comes out and it drops release date, the reviews are like 9s and 10s. I hope it's successful. But we'll see. We'll wait and see what comes of this.
Yep. Well, you know what else also has a new release date? Uncharted 4 at the end. That's right. It's been delayed again. So yeah, Uncharted is now not coming out in April, but 2 weeks later on May 10th of 2016. That's right. It's releasing 3 days before Doom. So there you go, folks. Yeah, the blog read that we know this news might be disappointing, and we are sorry to have to make you wait a little longer to play Naughty Dog's latest. The good news is that the game is phenomenal. We already knew that. We are fully content that it will be worth the wait, and the team at Naughty Dog is eager, as ever, for you to experience Nathan Drake's final adventure. So, we gotta wait a little bit longer, but honestly, I'm in the mindset of, you guys take all the time you need to make this game as great as it needs to be.
Yep. I'm just disappointed at this point. It's been a roller coaster of emotions with Uncharted 4 ever since it was announced. You guys remember, it was originally being written by Amy Hennig. There was a falling out with Amy Hennig and some of the team, like Todd Stashwick, who was working on the project. He seemed to be the villain, and Sam at that point, if Sam was the character that he is in this game. But we found out just recently that they completely scrapped everything Amy Hennig did and just restarted. So it's kind of like this game's already been delayed like 6 times because when they first showed it, they never gave a release date, but the whole project was, basically canceled, scrapped, and restarted. And now we got this delay after the delay of last year.
Maybe they had to delay it this time to take out that Assassin's Creed artwork.
That's why it took 2 weeks. So they're supposedly saying it's something having to do with manufacturing the discs and all that.
Yeah.
Why would that be an issue? Like, the game hasn't even gone gold yet, as far as I know. Right, so it's just, it seems like a bunch of PR BS. Like, guys, take your time with this game. I'm super excited. It's my most anticipated game of this year. Huge fan of the franchise, but at this point, like, 2 weeks, like, in like 2 weeks from now, are we gonna get another delay that's gonna be till like June?
Oh god.
Like it's just weird. Like, they delayed it out of 2015. And then didn't give us a release date, and then they finally said, like, oh, here, it's coming out.
It was supposed to be March, wasn't it?
I think so, right? It was supposed to be before the end of March, and then it was given an April release date, and then
now it's into May. We may get it then.
Oh, jeez. I'm still excited about this game. It's just disappointing. Yeah. But good on them. They give Star Fox some time to breathe because it was coming out in the same time frame. So I'll be getting Star Fox for sure now. Anyway, I already pre-ordered this game and paid it off a long time ago. So it's not like it was gonna really interfere with Star Fox, but just trying to make light of the situation because it's like, come on, guys, like
somebody at Nintendo's like, oh, thank God,
like we did it, Star Fox is gonna be a success. But
all I know is that now I have plenty of time for Dark Souls 3 and Bravely Second, maybe.
Yeah, I got time for Quantum Break and Ratchet are early on in that month, so maybe by then I would have completed both of them. So I'll have a lot of time to dedicate to Star Fox, which is good. Yeah. Because Star Fox is coming around the same time, so cool.
Look at the silver lining, folks, which we're about to do right now as we move into our topic of the week.
Oh, silver lining, this guy.
Which is our topic this week is video game movies, because this year we've got the Assassin's Creed movie coming up in the fall. We've got the Warcraft movie coming out in the summer. And just
Ratchet.
this past Ratchet and Clank. Jesus, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's coming out in April.
That's right. Oh, wow. Next month. Holy shit, I'm excited now.
Perfect perfect timing for this discussion.
Yeah, indeed it is. And this past week they talked about Thief, the reboot, probably getting a movie now. I think there's a new Lara Croft movie in the works, which will be based off the new games. Yep. And reportedly, Fassbender is coming back for Assassin's Creed 2 already. So, yeah. So let's talk about video game movies. We haven't gotten many good ones.
Yeah. We actually mentioned it during the Pokemon discussion. Pokemon, the first movie. Even though that's based on the anime, it's still technically a video game movie.
Yeah. The first Mortal Kombat is a favorite.
Oh, I love that movie. It's like bad, but bad in a good way. Like B movie, action movie. Like it's just perfect. It fits the game perfectly. Annihilation's a whole other thing because that movie's just bad because it's bad.
Yeah. I would say the same thing for the Street Fighter movie, the original one.
You know, I've never watched that because I heard it's terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
It's some of the acting is bad, but it's still good. It is
like
worth
that
it
B-movie.
for it's still worth it for fuck, I cannot remember the actor's name now. The guy who played M. Bison.
Raul Julia?
Yes, him. Yeah, his role is that he embraced it so much. And if you listen to Jim Sterling's new movie podcast, they actually covered Street Fighter on this past week, and they made a lot of great points on that. Like the movie itself really embraced the games. There's a lot of callbacks to all the games. Most of the characters are in there, and at the end of the day, it's almost an origin story for all the costumes, because the final scene of the movie is everybody in their actual Street Fighter costumes. So it's really good. It's enjoyable. I think it's a fun time. Some other ones,
Street Fighter 2, the animated movie.
Yes.
Have you seen that one? That one's pretty damn good. I really like that one. They've made other ones like Generations and stuff. Those are garbage. But Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, the anime was... I really like that. I wish we would get that on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But
nice.
I really enjoy that one.
Yeah. Well, the most popular ones, I guess, the Resident Evil franchise. I've never seen 1 and 2, but I have seen 3, 4, and 5. And I'm okay with them.
They've become as bad as the games.
Actually, I would say the movies are better than 6, at least.
But yeah, it's what's the original video game movie adaptation,
Super Mario Brothers,
and the Double Dragon one.
Yeah.
They've tried so many times. They tried with Prince of Persia. I thought that was gonna be good because it had the producer from Pirates of the Caribbean. It had Jake Gyllenhaal in it. I was like, it's pretty good. It was all right. It was just there.
Yeah.
Max Payne, I remember seeing that in the movie theater, being very excited for it, and then watching it, I'm like, when did this stuff happen in the game? I thought I had memory loss because of how different it was than the video game, because I'm like, I had to look up videos and be like, wait, that never happened in the game. And
one of the very few movies I actually fell asleep at watching in the theater.
I remember being so mad. And at the end of the movie, there's an after credit scene. They were supposed to do a sequel, and it was so bad.
The Hitman movies.
I might have seen the first one. I can't remember. There's been, you know which another one that's pretty decent?
What?
The first Tomb Raider one.
Yeah. The first Tomb Raider was good. Even the second one was all right.
Yeah, that was an enjoyable action movie. But it just didn't really hit. I'll give it to the first one. The first one wasn't that bad. The second one was kind of all over the place. trying to think of
having Angelina Jolie helps.
Yeah, that didn't help. And this is when she was like young and like really, really hot. So, I'm just gonna quick Google search of video game movies. I know there's stuff like, let's see, of course, the ones we've already talked about popped up, like Resident Evil.
There's the whole other category of UA Bowl movies, which...
Oh, yeah, which they're all garbage.
Yeah.
Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill Revelation. You know, for what they were entertaining movies.
Yeah. And they are also movies where you can look at it and go, they accomplished something that very few other movies have done.
Yeah, especially the atmosphere of those games.
Yeah. I was going to refer more along the lines of Sean Bean actually lived through them.
But, yeah, interesting stuff. Of course, you already talked about Uwe Boll with House of the Dead and all that stuff. Doom, oh my god.
The first person sequence was alright.
That was the coolest part of the movie. I went to see it because The Rock was in it, and like, I remember being like, they don't even go to hell. Like, they're in like, what is going on? Like, it was like, wasn't it like they completely changed it? It was like an alternate dimension or something. They didn't even call it hell. Like
something like that. I've never seen the movie. I've only watched the first person sequence.
Have you seen the Tekken movie? That movie's freaking terrible.
No, I haven't. I have seen the Dead or Alive one, though.
Oh, man.
Which, that one was weird because they had the chick from My Name is Earl into it, playing Tina. It's like, what? But it was kind of okay.
The Tekken... It pissed me off, like... Like, these movies are just always so disappointing. I'm looking at a list. You just mentioned Dead or Alive. Need for Speed. I completely forgot about that. I never watched it. Man, there's so many movies here. Crazy. Some of the animated stuff is good, like we mentioned.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2, the animated. There was like an anime of Tekken, and it was like completely different to the game, but it was enjoyable. I remember like seeing that like it was like at a Blockbuster or something in Puerto Rico, and I was like, what the hell is this? Because at the time I was a huge fan of like Tekken. Like I was obsessed with like the lore and the mythology. I'm like, what the hell, they made this?
Oh man, the Final Fantasy Spirits Within movie.
I've never seen it, but I heard it was terrible. Speaking of that, Advent Children, that was just...
I enjoyed Advent Children.
I enjoyed it, but it was like all over, like... Man, like I thought this is one here, Halo 4 Forward Onto Dawn. I thought that was actually pretty well done.
Yeah.
As a like live action Halo thing, that's probably the best thing, one of the better things. I'd probably put in my top 5 things. Top 5 adaptations, like I'd put it there with like Mortal Kombat. Like, as a fan of Halo, I thought it was pretty damn well done as an origin story for what's his name, Lansky. Yeah, Lasky. Who's one of the commanders in the Halo universe. But I thought that was a pretty cool origin story for him, and you do eventually see the Master Chief in it. So the Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, I don't know if you ever saw that. That came out a year or two ago. It was done on Machinima, and then they released it on DVD and Blu-ray. That was pretty well done. They had a very small budget, so but it paid homage to the series, and like it respected the source material. Halo Nightfall was like I was excited for that after seeing Forward Onto Dawn. That wasn't done very well, but yeah, it just seems like there hasn't been a huge like one that delivered on all cylinders. Like there's been some ones that have been really successful, like Lara Croft Tomb Raider, which we talked about, that did $274 million at the box office.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, especially for the time it released. That was really good money. But it just seems like a lot of these, damn, Resident Evil, they always making over 200 million. That's why they keep making them. But yeah, there hasn't been one that probably I put at the top of my list the Mortal Kombat one, the original Mortal Kombat, because that's one I could still to this day watch and enjoy. and be like, man, this was pretty well done, even if it's cheesy. Mortal Kombat's always been cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. It's a bunch of, like, B-movie stuff going on. So they were supposed to do a third movie, but that went into the Mortal Kombat, the live action. What's the damn live action?
Resurrection? Was it?
Combat live action. The one that they also did on Machinima that was actually pretty well done. You remember the one that they did, like, the concept of it, and then they did, like, a whole season?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the better adaptations. And he was supposed to direct the movie. The director of that first pitch that they did, that had, like, Michael Jell White in that. But, yeah, it's just, like, we haven't seen some really to the quality that they deserve to be. It's been all over the place, and that leads into the discussion about Ratchet and Clank coming up around the corner. Comes out next month. I think it has good chances of being good because it's an animated film.
Yeah,
so
we've got that. We've got the Angry Birds movie coming out May 20th.
That doesn't matter.
You know what? I've seen bits and pieces. It could be okay. Like, it's not for you and me. That's obvious. But looking at it objectively, it could be good, you know?
It could be entertaining.
Warcraft looks interesting. I'm not necessarily sold yet, but
it's a lot of CG.
Yeah.
A lot of CG.
I wish it was all CG and just have Blizzard's team do it, being like, yeah, fuck,
just
take my money at that point.
Yeah, like we were talking about Ratchet just now. Ratchet will most likely work because it's an animated film. It's not live action. If they would just get Blur Studios to just do movies that are CG, you know.
And as we mentioned, Assassin's Creed's coming up.
And December, I believe.
December 21st.
Well, we'll see how that does.
Resident Evil, the final chapter, January 27th of next year. And the other ones listed here, Uncharted for June 30th, 2017.
That's not happening.
No.
They have nobody. Everybody's left that project. All the actors, all the writers.
Sly Cooper to be announced. That was announced a while ago.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like a
I think they're waiting on the reception for Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. Hopefully that's good. I could see Sly Cooper working really well.
I think they're waiting on, like I said, the reception of Ratchet and Clank, and then if that works, they'll do like a universe.
Yeah.
Where like Ratchet meets Sly and stuff down the line if the movies are successful.
Then we'll get Jack and Daxter.
Yeah. That'd be cool to see, actually.
We'll get the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale movie. And the other two that's listed here on Wikipedia, Dragon's Lair, the movie. That'd be interesting.
Really, there was a movie already.
Yeah. And the other one, which I just remembered there were reports of, for Sony and Sega working on to it, Sonic the Hedgehog, the live action animated crossover movie. Oh no. You know Sonic's going to end up making it with a human in that. So no.
This could end up being so bad it's good, though. I could see this being so bad that it's good. Like a lot of Sonic games, like they're so bad they're good. Oh man. That's just weird. It just makes sense to do an animated version, but and there's stuff that like isn't necessarily, completely in the pipeline right now. Like it's been in development hell, like Shadow of the Colossus. The Last of Us is in development with Neil Druckmann being very hands-on in terms of writing the script and all that. But we'll see what happens with Hollywood. There was rumors, God of War, Gears of War, BioShock. There's just been a lot of movies over the years that just
you just need a good director for it.
Disappeared pretty much.
Yeah. Hey, now that Guillermo del Toro isn't working on Pacific Rim 2 as a director, how about doing that Shadow of the Colossus movie now? Yeah. I'd watch the hell out of it if he did it. So yeah, that's I think that pretty much sums things up, eh?
Yeah, it's like this is a big year because we named those 3 movies. If any of these hit, like we might see a lot more interest in these. There's a lot of money riding on Warcraft. A lot of money over at Universal, and is it Legendary who's also working on it?
Yeah, I do believe so. Yeah.
And they're doing the whole theme park attractions and all that stuff. There's a lot of money riding on that movie. I think that's gonna be one of those flops. I hope it's not. I might go see it. I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of like the Warcraft universe though. Ratchet and Clank. I'm definitely gonna go see that 100%. That's like a movie I could see it really hitting like and doing well for Sony. I really hope it does. Assassin's Creed. I'm a fan of the series, the franchise, so I'm definitely gonna go see that, even if it ends up being garbage. I hope it's well done because this is like the first movie too. Didn't like Ubisoft open like specifically some like development companies and studios to do this Assassin's Creed movie? So it could work. All they really need is the stuff from like the present day stuff with the Animus and the technology, and then going back and show off some cool locations, some interesting characters. This could revitalize Assassin's Creed actually, especially with them not having a game this year and having it pushed to 2017. Maybe when they come back in 2017, Assassin's Creed is even bigger than ever. And there's other stuff in the pipe like Call of Duty. Like remember Activision was trying to really pull that one off, but we'll see how Warcraft does. I have a feeling it's gonna do bad. Like it's gonna bomb at the box office.
But it has Michael Fassbender into it. So.
No, I'm talking about Warcraft.
Okay, yeah.
Assassin's Creed, I think it'll do well either way. I think it'll be all right, but
that's the same thing with Prince of Persia. That did over 300 million. So
yeah, I'm surprised I never got a sequel, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of movies. Like a lot of these, to be honest, I'd rather just play the game. But some of these could translate well, and I'd like to see stuff on the big screen. Like just thinking maybe one day we see Kratos on the big screen like fighting these giant titans. I'd lose my mind. Like that would be a spectacle. Like we just saw Gods of Egypt come out and it just flop. But something like God of War handled by the right people.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It just needs the love and care. Like we went through this when me and you grew up with comic book movies where it was like, oh, this is kind of horrible and
the
bad.
Batman and Robin and other stuff. Then Blade hit. And Blade really... It was like the first one to drop.
Yeah. And then like Marvel like took things into their own hands. Like the own company doing it and putting love and care into the characters. And now we have a 13, 14 movie franchise with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which are all very good in their own way.
Yeah.
So the same thing could happen with video game movies, especially like with Ubisoft taking control and overseeing the movie. So could work.
It is the next gold mine, I think, for Hollywood. That and anime. Those are the two things that I really think could take Hollywood to the next level. In terms of like being the next gold mine. And it'll bring a lot of people too, because there's a lot of people who are intimidated by gaming. So they see a controller, they see all these buttons, they're like, whatever, I don't understand what's going on. But they could go to a movie theater, pay their money, check out a movie, learn about this new franchise, and still enjoy it. So I'm not gonna be like one of those people like, oh no, completely don't want to see it. Personally, I'd rather play it, but I'd love to see it. And I'm not going to be like one of those elitists that's like, no, don't ever happen. You still have the games at the end of the day, right? Like,
indeed.
Like if Uncharted, the movie comes out and it's completely terrible, we still have fantastic games to play, so...
Yep. We have 3 games anyway, unless the other one gets delayed again.
Oh.
But I do believe that that pretty much does it for our topic of the week this week.
Yeah.
So diving into questions and comments, we do have a comment on the last episode from Aaron B. Thank you for commenting again, dude. He says, very hyped for the Sun and Moon. Playing Yellow recently on the 3DS has made me appreciate all the tweaks they've made to their formula over the years. The feature I miss most in Yellow is EXP share easily. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Looking back, it's like, wow, they have come a long way. Simultaneously, it also highlights how little these games have changed over the years. 8 gyms, the Elite Four, and some ridiculous villainous organization. I'm calling it now, by the way. The terrorist organization in Sun and Moon will either be trying to destroy the moon or the sun based on which version you buy. Yeah, I think that's a very safe bet.
They might destroy the Moo, as we found out last week. Sun and Moo.
Run, mill tanks, run!
Run.
But yeah, thank you for the comment, Aaron. Excited for Sun and Moo myself. Not sure which version I'll buy yet, though. Whichever one has the better.
Moo.
But with that, I do believe that does it for another episode of the Glitched Out Podcast. So, Izzy, why don't you take us away?
So, thanks guys for checking out this week's episode of the podcast. Let us know your thoughts on any other things we discuss, all the stuff that came out of the Nintendo Direct, the Uncharted delay, No Man's Sky release date, any of your favorite video game movies, or your least favorite video game movies, or movies that you're looking forward to in the near future. For Lord X, I'm Izzy, aka Israel Pacheco 89, and we are glitching out.
Hit the lever.